Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. I'm super excited to have a awesome guest to talk about the topic of how to unlock potential in your e-commerce growth. I know that there are a lot of folks out there looking to grow their e-commerce stores, whether they're looking to go cross-channel, whether they're looking to expand into new marketplaces, or whether they're just looking to grow their business as is. But this topic, I think, is on top of mind for a number of customers of SellersFi, as well as other e-commerce sellers out there today. My name is Russell Walraven. I'm the CMO of SellersFi. Many of you know us. Some of you may not. But what we do at SellersFi is we are a financial solutions company built for e-commerce. We provide working capital. We provide payment solutions. We are soon to offer banking solutions such as business checking accounts and business charge cards and multiple other products to come. Today, I have with me Adrien Levinger. Adrien is the CEO of FAVsolutions. He's going to have a lot of great insights on e-commerce growth. Welcome, Adrien. If you don't mind, could you please introduce yourself?
Thank you so much, Russell, for having me today. Adrien, CEO of FAVsolution, web development agency specializing in e-commerce. We are a Shopify Plus partner. We've been in the space for over 6 years. We're a team of 15 between the US and Europe. And we are supporting brands on two main things. We are building or rebuilding or migrating website from one platform to another platform. And then once they have a solid foundation, we are supporting them on an ongoing basis, maintaining their website and optimizing it for growth.
That's awesome. And can you talk a little bit about the types of sellers of e-commerce businesses that would use the solutions like FAVsolutions?
Sure. So as I said, the main platform we're building on is Shopify. So the typical brand that we work with is on Shopify or wants to go on Shopify from another CMS, or maybe they're only on a marketplace and they want to start their own direct channel. So they could come to us and we could help them build that experience on Shopify. In terms of revenue, the bulk of our clients are between 2 and 10 million dollars a year, some of them being a bit smaller and a few of them being significantly bigger.
That's awesome. And how long have you guys been around? How long has FAVsolutions been in business?
So we've been working on this since 2018. We officially launched in 2019, originally as a web development agency with a focus on e-commerce, but we were platform agnostic at the beginning, building on Shopify, on Magento, on WooCommerce, on BigCommerce, and a few other custom solutions. Over the years, the demand from the brands, from the market has shifted towards Shopify. So most of the incoming requests we got were for Shopify. So we decided to focus our efforts on that. And after having launched a dozen of successful projects, we were able to get the official approval from Shopify and become a Shopify Plus partner, which has further accelerated our growth in that space.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. So let's just jump right into kind of the topic of e-commerce growth. And I want to start on the negative, right? So what are some of the common challenges that you're seeing from your customers, from others in the e-commerce space that they're facing when they're trying to grow and do different things with their business?
So I'll focus on the technical side of things because this is our expertise. A common struggle or common pain points that I see for brand is as they grow, when they start, they're gonna try and build something themselves. And then as they grow a bit, they want some new features or they want some optimization that they can't do themselves. So they're gonna go on a freelancer platform and hire a developer who's going to do something. And then a few months later, they're going to hire another one. And then maybe they're thinking, okay, maybe I should have an agency, and they're going to work with an agency. And they end up with that website, which is some sort of a Frankenstein, many patches and different features built by different persons. And it's sort of all over the place and not performing as well as it should be. And but it takes time for them to realize that. And I would say that's the number one pain point that I'm seeing, like a website that has been touched by so many different persons, which is normal in the course of a website. But in my opinion, if you are at the point where you want to accelerate your growth or build a tool that's going to help you scale, you need to step back, look at what you've done historically, and probably do a cleanup of your code base or even rebuild it from the ground up.
Yeah, that's great. And do you see any common motives for people they get to a certain point? Is it volume? Is it they're trying to offer new products, more in their product line, more products, more services that 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 makes them become more required to come to someone like you? Is there a point in time that someone needs to say, "Now's the time. I've grown to a point, and now I need to call Adrien and FAVsolutions"?
So I think when you reach a certain point, every tiny improvement that you can do on the website can have a significant impact. When you're just beginning and your traffic is quite low and your marketing investments are quite low, you can afford to have things that are not perfect. You can afford for something to be done in 2, 3 weeks. But once you have thousands or tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of users a month, every little thing that drags on has a significant financial impact on your company. So the sooner you address it and the better you address it, the best for your company. And that's when it's important to come see an agency like us so that we can do things quickly, we can do things properly so that they don't keep on breaking, and you can focus on your core business, your products, your marketing without worrying about the technology and the website behind it.
That's awesome. Thank you. And so you talked a little bit about the technical side, about people not having the skill to build things themselves, to do things themselves. Can you talk a little bit about the strategy side, a little bit about how does customer and website experience factor into this, and what is kind of your expertise in kind of customer experience and the UX side of building a website, especially for those that are selling things that people have come to expect a certain experience on shopping sites. So can you talk a little bit about how you factor that into the need of the customers?
Sure. I think here, one of the most common mistake that people or agency do is that they're making UX decisions or strategy decisions based on their opinion and not based on the data. What is super important is to analyze the data to understand where you have friction points, where you have pain points, where you have fires, so that you can then look for a solution and then implement it. That the button has to be here or there, that it should be that color, that we should have a dedicated landing page for a specific campaign cannot apply to any brand and to all brands, and doesn't mean much if there is no data to back it. So to me, the most important thing and first thing that anybody should do, and that we do when we work on a project, we log into Shopify or whatever solution they're using to look at the data. We look into Google Analytics if they're using Google Analytics, and we try to look at their traffic sources, KPIs per traffic source. We look at their funnel so that we understand what's working and what's not working, and so that we can really focus on what's not working for them. Once we implement things, we keep looking at the data, and we see if it's moving the needle. We keep what's moving the needle, and when we get rid of the rest. And it's by doing many iterations that you keep on optimizing your product. And your product is never done, it's never fully optimized. You need to constantly have that feedback loop. And sorry, I'm speaking for
No,
a while,
this
but
is great.
One very important thing beyond the data that you can see in tools such as analytics or your CMS is customer feedback. This is the most valuable thing because there are things that will resonate with your audience specifically. So it's extremely important to gather feedback from client and to use it and use it everywhere. Use it to build your website, use it to create the content for your website, use it to build your marketing campaigns, whether it's Google Ads, Meta Ads, or newsletters. But really using your basically, you need to know what your customer wants so that you can give it to them so that they will buy from you. And understanding what your customer wants is the number one secret to grow your company.
Yeah, that's definitely the case, and I don't think that's just unique to web development, web design. I think that's any business because we do the same here, and our product could be no further apart from yours. We're a financial product, you're a technology product, so I think that's a great point that you make. One question that comes to mind for me, if I was a small business owner, if I was an e-commerce business owner, and I was going to someone like you, I might be concerned about my brand or concerned about, is my brand going to translate to a super cool Shopify Plus website or whatever that might be. How do you work with them to make sure that their brand is such that it can translate well to the web? Or if it can't, and you may have to use some kid gloves and be delicate with them, how do you work with that customer to let them know, let's do some change to your brand, let's kind of, this may be the time that we do a little tweak to the brand. Do you run across that very often?
Yes, I mean, it happens. And here we're touching the limits of what we know how to do. And so the way that I approach it is we bring in experts. So we are really heavily focused on development, and our conviction is that you can only be really good and an expert at one thing. So and that's how we've positioned the agency since we founded it, in opposition to one-stop shops claiming they can do marketing, they can do financing, they can do web development, web design, a bit of everything. Our take on that is we are dev expert, e-commerce strategy experts. We need to work on the branding. We're going to bring on a partner that is a branding and design expert and that is going to work with you through questionnaires and workshop to understand the DNA of the brand and rework the logo and the fonts and the colors and give you guidelines for the content creation in terms of copywriting and images. And with what they will produce, then we can build a beautiful Shopify website for any brand.
That's great. Do you have a few success stories that you can tell of customers that came to you looking for growth, and how you helped them do that? Can you give us a couple of examples of some customers?
You want me to name customers?
You don't have to necessarily name them. You can say, it was an e-commerce business that sold, I don't know, sunglasses or flour. You can be as vague as you need to be.
Sure. So I'll start with an example in the beauty industry. It was fragrance. They came to us already an existing online presence, decent branding, and a functioning website, but quite a few glitches. One of the main ones being that overall the website was quite slow. And performance is a key is a key metric when it comes to conversion rate optimization. And what we did for them is, as a phase one, because they were still small and maybe lacking the confidence to invest a significant amount of money into rebuilding the website from the ground up, we analyzed their website from a features perspective, from an application perspective, what application do they have running on the website, and then from a code perspective, just reviewing their code. And we optimized where we could. When it comes to features and application, the rule of thumb is less is more. The more simple your website is, the faster it will run. And then by doing that exercise of getting rid of whatever they were not using or that was not bringing value, plus going through the code and optimizing it, we were able to increase the website speed by 20%, which therefore increased their conversion rate and therefore their revenue. Few years on, revenue growing, they were ready to work on the branding and to do a full rebuild, which we did. And the revenue continued to grow significantly or accelerated to grow after the rebuild. This time, we still had a portion that was attributable to performance improvement. By rebuilding from the ground up, we were able to increase the speed by an additional 15%. But also, and that was more done through UX, we were able to increase their average order value. And this was done by cross-selling and upselling and selling bundles.
That's cool. Do you guys focus on certain types of businesses? You mentioned beauty, or do you guys work on sites for multiple different types of businesses?
So we work for across all verticals. I think there is a bias, but just because I believe that there are more brands in those verticals than in others. So we
Sure.
have brands in the beauty industry, in the clothing and accessories, so clothing and shoes, jewelry, food and beverages. It's a bit of everything.
Okay, that's great. What are a couple of pieces of advice that you would give for e-commerce businesses that they should avoid, right? What have people done wrong that you've seen? Maybe you fixed things they've done wrong, or maybe you've seen how they've avoided some of the pitfalls in trying to grow.
So one thing that people quite often do wrong, or maybe they don't realize how important it is tracking. Having proper tracking, so gathering the proper analytics so that you can make informed decision, but also pushing the relevant data to your marketing channels or to your marketplaces so that your listing are as good as they can be. And this can come in various forms. So tracking and marketing can be done through pixels. So making sure you're tracking the events that are relevant to your business. So maybe it's a landing page visits, maybe it's a contact us click, maybe it's an add to cart, maybe it is some details regarding the conversion. Then it can be, if we go back to marketplaces, having a product feed that is optimized per channel, per marketplace is extremely important. If you're going to push your products from Shopify to Amazon, to eBay, to or even to Meta, because you can have a shop on Meta. All the platforms do not need the same attributes. Some needs them formatted differently. So making sure you have a product feed that is optimized for each channel is the way to maximize your sales on each channel.
Thank you. One thing you mentioned, the tracking, right? And there's a ton of data. On a website, you're going to get all sorts of data from visits to clicks to views to you name it. You're going to get tons of data. A lot of people may not understand that very well, right? A lot of these e-commerce sellers, they understand their business, they know how to sell products, they know how to source products, they know how to list, and they know how to do all of these things. But it may be foreign and maybe new to them. And all of these e-commerce sellers, they wear multiple hats, right? They're not only the CEO, but they're the chief product officer, and they're the chief sales officer, and they're the controller. They're doing all the finances. Do you guys Are you able to build websites in a way and help provide them resources to utilize that data in the ways that you just mentioned? Because I imagine that could be pretty overwhelming for someone that may not be super familiar with it from the get-go.
So going back to what I was saying with the branding experts and us being the tech experts, when we're building a website, we will make sure it's properly tagged and that the relevant information is flowing to the platforms that are relevant to your business. But beyond that, and if you have some custom requests, we can definitely implement them. Beyond that, we can train you and show you what reports you can get. Basically, we can give you the 101 on analytics, whether it's in Google Analytics or in Shopify. Beyond that, we can make some recommendation as to technologies or companies which are dedicated to data analysis. And again, I think our strength, or one of our strengths, is knowing what our limits are. And I think this applies, as you said, for something else earlier, to all businesses and to many situations. I think the brands should know their limits and know when to hire someone to do something. And so that when it comes to data and data analysis and building dashboard, we can basically build the pipelines or setting it up for the clients. But then if they want data analyst or if they want custom dashboards, this is not what we do. But over the years, we have identified expert in the industry, and we can connect our clients with them, or we can work with them for our clients if the client doesn't want to have too many different parties involved.
Okay, great. That's awesome. Well, I think I know some people have been asking some questions from the attendees. So maybe and Caroline is from SellersFi is helping us uh, capture those questions. Maybe we can take a look here and see what the questions are. So let me try to find that out. Here we go. First one: what is the holy grail tech stack? So what is the tech that you have to have to really grow and perform well as an e-commerce business?
I don't think there is an answer to that. I mean, let's start with the basis, the CMS. In my opinion, today, if you can do it with Shopify, you should do it on Shopify. And I would go even further than that. You should try to make it work within Shopify because the tool is so strong and so user-friendly and so affordable that it's the go-to for e-commerce. Plus, with the channels they're giving you, the sales channels or the marketplace connect, through your Shopify, you can sell on so many marketplaces. So that would be the first one. Then let's talk about must-have tools or must-have in your tech stack on Shopify. For tracking, Elevar. Elevar lets you do server-side tracking. So as you all know, there are more and more restrictions when it comes to tracking people and cookie policies in different regions in the world. And also when it comes to performance, server-side tracking can provide many advantages. So Elevar would be the number one. Customer experience or customer service, I would go with Gorgeous, which is extremely well integrated into Shopify and has tons of automations, can save your team a lot of time and definitely increase the customer satisfaction. Reviews and referral and loyalty, we love to use at FAVsolution Okendo. Retention marketing, so SMS and newsletters. There are two amazing solutions for Shopify, SendLane and Klaviyo. Klaviyo is the historical one. SendLane is, I mean, not a new player, but newer player than Klaviyo. Both excellent solutions. What else we didn't touch on in terms of tech stack?
So to get it a little bit, you mentioned SMS and newsletters, and you mentioned, Klaviyo and others. What do you see the difference between those and CRMs such as HubSpot and Salesforce and some of these larger CRMs, or do you see them as tools that work together?
For a lot of e-commerce businesses, they would replace these big CRMs. I think a HubSpot or a Salesforce will be more useful when you're in the B2B business and when you're more in the business of generating leads and then having some heavy lifting to do in terms of following up and calls and emails and campaigns. While a Klaviyo or a SendLane will be extremely useful for a B2C website, a transactional website, where people are coming on your site to add something to the cart and check out. And in these instances, these CRM, which have some amazing segmentation capabilities, and segmentation is the key of the success of retention marketing, I think they're the best.
Awesome. Another question we have here is, and we touched on this a little bit, but when do you think someone is ready for services such as FAVsolutions?
I think if you're doing $1 million online in sales and you want to accelerate, that's a good spot to consider us. Uh, we have some brand that are starting and that have raised capital and want to build an optimum product from the get-go. That's also a very good moment to contact us. Um, I would say that if you're starting your own business and you're bootstrapping it, I mean, my recommendation, if I were to do it, I would do it myself at the beginning with a theme, a template that I would buy. I would build it like as simple as possible and as cost effective as possible. And when I start getting traction, maybe I call FAVsolution before investing a lot of money into marketing.
That's awesome. One question we've had a couple times here that I've seen is what is that cost, right? And I know it probably depends, but just for the sake of kind of giving people a ballpark idea, if they're doing $1 million a year, what do they need to invest to get a proper solution that you guys could offer? Is it, bigger than a bread box, smaller than a bread box? I know it may be custom, or there may be, packages that you guys offer. So what's the
So
how much funding is required for
it
solutions
will,
such as Faith?
it will depend where they are at and how good or bad their current website is. Um, Ongoing solution, so optimization and doing iterations after iterations, but keeping the existing structure, I would say start at 2,500 a month, and we would need at least 4 to 6 months to have an impact. If we need to rebuild from the ground up, then you basically have two options. Buying a theme or selecting an existing theme and customizing it, or building it from the ground up, in which case we would go through a design phase. So we would look at the data to understand where we have issues. We would conduct some customer surveys to understand what they want and what's going well and what's not going well. From that, we will build mockups, and then we would develop a website that would be the mockup pixel perfect. Depending on which option you go with, it's gonna range from 20 to 100,000.
Okay. And what is kind of the timeline? What are people typically, whether, and it's obviously different if it's the custom,
Yeah.
building from the ground up. What's kind of the range of time it would take someone? They make the decision, they give you guys a call. When are they going to be up and running with a cool website?
So from the kickoff to the go live of the site, again, depending on which option we're going to choose, I think it's going to take anywhere from 6 to 14 weeks, 15
Okay,
weeks. Yeah.
cool.
Also depends if it's, let's say it's a migration. Let's say it's the most complex scenario would be a client comes to us, they have several websites on several platforms, and they want everything under one roof. They think Shopify is the right solution for them because it's going to connect to the different marketplaces. So, and we have to redesign the experience. So we're going to have a design phase. We're going to have development phase. We're going to have migration of the databases from the different platforms to Shopify. And then we're going to have integrations between Shopify and the different marketplaces this on. In a scenario like this, I think it's probably around 15 weeks.
Okay. Well, thanks, Adrien. I think that answers all the questions from the participants. Do you have anything you would like to leave everyone with? Just a piece of advice, uh, some wisdom, Anything you'd like to leave them with?
I already touched on, but I think the two most important things are keeping things simple, and looking at the data. Make informed decision. Don't just guess or think it's going to be good or it looks good or you saw it on another website. Look at the data, and that's how you can make good decisions for your business.
Okay, great. Well, I think that's going to kind of wrap us up. Adrien, I really appreciate you joining us. I look forward to learning more about FAVsolutions, and working together with you more, I hope. And I hope everyone enjoyed listening to you. I know I did, and I learned a lot. But I look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me again.
All right. Thanks. Have a great day, everybody.
Bye bye.